Why did I choose to redesign my life as a parent of a young autist or a teenager autist? So as I have published, those videos, I'm around 20 videos now, and exchanging in the groups or forums, then there is one thing that I have discovered. Whenever I am searching for groups about autism, either I find some groups where I find, young or adult autists that, are trying to sensitize people about the issues or the successes that they have as young or adult autists. Or I find some groups or some parents of autists, but that are, focused on the successes or the challenges that they have dealing with the autism of their son or of their daughter. And the big issue that I have is that we all know that it's a really burden, to deal with this. And I'm not complaining, but let's face it. We can't, have a normal life when we have some different kid, whether they are autists or maybe they have some trisomy or all of those things, because you never can. You can't plan things, and just you have the standard way of educating those your kids is maybe for us in Madagascar around 4 year old. Then you put them into the standard education system, and then for the next maybe 10 or 12 years, I'm not really sure, then you don't really think about uh, different things. Maybe you can do some extracurricular activities for them. But the issue with having an autistic son, for me, for example, is that we have discovered that he was autistic when he was around 3 year old. So it's at the right time when we have to put him into the standard education system. So we tried to put him into the standard education system, but at the end of the day, we ended up, going from one school to another because he didn't fit, and people were not ready to take him into their system. And so now, as I told you, it's been a year, more than a year, that we have decided that we have to take him off of the standard education system. So clearly, we are now into an experimental program here for my son Luca, who is now 15-year old. And that means that for us parents and for me as a dad, we have to invest more resources into that development of our son, because since it's an experimental system, then there are things that work, there are things that don't work. You may want him to do some things, but then, since you have to deal with other people's constraints also, you cannot always, depend on one system. So this means that you have to test a lot of things. So our approach, for example, is to have him, be exposed to different activities, whether it is sports, music, or he doesn't like music, or something else, so that we can see what is that interest that he has, and then try to put the resources on this. But this means that there's a lot of investment in terms of time, in terms of financial resources. And I tried to Google and find some, autism support group, parent support group, and it's really hard. It's really hard to find parents, dealing with these topics, dealing with, how do you redesign your life? How do you finance the activities that you have? So yes, I found people in other countries, they have some subvention from the state, and under some criteria, they may be eligible for those subventions. So, but then, even with that, at some point of time, once they reach some kind of revenue in the family, then they may lose that subventions, which means that you're capped on the top. So it's like your dream is, you can't even dream of big things for your son. And I don't really, feel comfortable about it. I have, for example, the dream of, having my son work for, those DFX companies. One is I particularly like is a company called Exceptional Minds. I think they are in the United States, and they have some autistic adults that are behind, the video effects of those blockbusters that Avatar, maybe Spider-Man, and all those things. And those are things that I want my son to be, involved in, because hey, at the end of the day, we have to think about the future of our autistic son or kid, because when we are not there anymore, they have to be autonomous and be able to have a life, some kind of life. And I just don't want them, to have some low standards, and just because the help or the subvention that I've received or as a parent was not enough, I would be, thinking about big things for my son. And when I'm trying to think about it, I couldn't find any, resources or communities where we're talking about those things. Most of the time, we are talking about, as parents of autists, we are talking about the meltdown of our sons. We are talking about, eating issues that we have or sleeping issues that we have. But no one is talking about how do we as parents get the resources to develop our son or our daughter. So that's why I started this, vlog, so as to share what I'm doing, to share what I find interesting, and that may be included into what I can do as a parent of an autist. But secretly, I'm thinking about, things that I will be doing that eventually be interesting enough for my son also, that he can eventually do also, or try to find some few things that we can do together so that he can make a living out of it. So that's the secret dream that I have here. And I know that in I'm now, I am in a 9 to 5 job, and that 9 to 5 job will not allow me to pursue those big dreams. That's why I'm, redesigning. I'm trying to find, or I'm working on, because I found it. I'm working on, a system, a lifestyle where I get that flexible lifestyle, flexible in terms of schedule and time, because, being, limited with time is not really a good thing, and I just don't want to trade time for money anymore. And I want also to be flexible in terms of financial resources. Just don't want to be under this, salary system where every month what you're gonna get. I want something that can be replicable, can be scalable, so that we can invest into a lot of things. And finally, flexible in terms of location, because we now live in a global system, in a global world, and I just want to be able to do the activity, have the lifestyle I have, even if I have to move from town to town, from city to city, from country to country. I just want to, be able to still follow that lifestyle. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, guys, why I'm doing this, what I'm trying to achieve. And so far, I have already started, because you know that I'm doing affiliate marketing. I'm doing most of the side hustle that I'm doing is based online, and most of the criteria that I'm, putting so as to choose an activity are based on, those facts where I can live that lifestyle. So that's just what I wanted to share with you about why I'm doing this, and feel free, to share in the comments if you also have these issues. If you find some communities where parents of autists are talking about, side hustles or activities they do so as to redesign their life, because I'm eager to know about it and share with you about it. Bye, guys.